We are back, and I am with former Survivor contestant Steven Fishbach, who's with me via Zoom. Steven, Survivor today is much different than the game that you once played. So what's your take on this new era that's branded Season 41 and beyond?
Well, I think I would be terrified if I were a contestant in this new era because it is a much faster moving game. I mean, just the time is compressed. The show has gone from 39 days to 26 days, but it's the same number of people. So those vote outs are happening a lot faster.
Yeah.
You have a lot less time to strategize. On the other hand, there's a lot more different advantages. You know, the first time I played, there was a hidden immunity idol. There was one on each beach, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's, every time someone opens a new urn or a jar, there's a new type of advantage, a new type of twist. And as a player, you just have no idea what you can, for me, stepping onto the beach in Survivor, I could make a 39-day plan. Now you can't make a 2-hour plan because something new is going to come up.
Always changing.
It is always changing. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Do you feel like the show should return to its 39-day format, or do you think that the 26 days works?
I prefer the 39 days because I do think the players have a little bit more time to get to know each other, form. To me, what's exciting about Survivor is seeing the really deep personal bonds form, and then how that complicates an extremely strategic game. And I do think the faster pace kind of makes it harder for those really deep personal bonds. And just from a purely logistical standpoint, it's harder for people to make plans, you know? And so I think that kind of inhibits the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now with that too, in this new era, I think a big controversy has been that there's maybe too many twists. So what do you think about that? Do you think they should back up a little bit on the twists, or do you like all of that?
I like some of the twists. I think it does add a lot of, I do like some of the unpredictability, and I think, from a lot of people's perspective, maybe abstractly we hate the twists, but if the twists weren't there, we'd get bored. I mean,
Sure.
the TV landscape has changed so much. When you're competing against 600 TV shows and there's an explosion at the end of every episode of every one of them, you've got to do something new and exciting to stay relevant. I do wish there were slightly fewer twists, at least to give the players a footing. I want the players to know what's out there because then they can make a plan. To me, that's what's fun about the show, is seeing players make a plan according to what they know the game's possibilities are. But when every day it's something new that they've never seen before, it just becomes somewhat random.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I would even say, in this new era, it feels like the episodes we see where there's not as many twists and you just let the players play, that's when the episodes tend to be a little bit better as well. So, Steven, we're just a few weeks away from the 44th season finale. So how have you felt about this season, and who do you maybe predict to win?
This has been such a fun season. I've absolutely loved it. We've seen some fun characters that really, I think, are going to be, iconic Survivor characters moving forward. We have Carolyn this season, who, is really taking that sort of older mom archetype. I mean, older, she's my age, so I guess I'm older too. And flipping it on its head. I think that's a character type that's often been overlooked or ignored. And she is such a savvy player. She plays with so much heart and so much emotion and also so much insight and strategy. And it's really been thrilling to watch. We have Jam, who is a salon owner who is the one-liner king and has everybody loves him. And
Yes.
He's so hilarious, and yet he's also so strategic. I actually think Jam might be the guy to take it home.
Oh, okay.
I think he's in a great spot. Carolyn, I'd be very happy to see. And then there's Carson, this really young super fan who is 3D printing the puzzles from past seasons and then practicing them at home. And so when he's playing, he's speeding through these challenges, and that's really fun to see. I mean, some really fun, great players.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with the 3D printing that Carson's doing, I've seen a lot on Twitter. People are saying that Survivor should consider switching up the puzzle so these contestants that are super fans aren't so familiar with what's going on. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I like the fact that contestants can prepare. I mean, when you're at home, if you're not preparing, then you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I think there should be some variation, right? Not every puzzle should be one we've seen before. I think that to have a few that you can prepare for is great. But then also Survivor will have a challenge like Last Gasp, which was the one we just saw in the most recent episode, where the players are, under a grate in the water, just basically seeing how long they can stay hold their breath. And that's not something you can prepare for. And I think that's so having things that you can prepare for and then also alternating those with things that are just pure willpower, pure endurance, that's what sort of makes Survivor exciting. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's a great take on it. All right, Steven, how can people keep up with you on social media?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Steven Fishbach. That's Steven with a PH. So yeah, please follow me there. I live tweet the episodes all the time.
All right, sounds good. Survivor airs new episodes every Wednesday on CBS. Steven, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be on. I really appreciate it.